When I hear the word leadership, I picture the roles and responsibility of a principal. However, leadership is not confined to one type of person or profession. I believe that studying all the encompassing traits of a strong leader can promote growth regardless of the profession. Therefore, instead of reading a book on education, I decided to consider an alternative perspective of leadership by reading a crime slash mystery novel, As Though Nothing Could Fall, by local author Anthony Iannucci. This book follows the story of a main protagonist, Mike Bowen, who is a young detective attempting to make a name for himself in the city of Boston. Throughout the book, there is a significant development of Mike's integrity and accountability and his communication, resulting from his environment, his life circumstances, and especially his relationships. The setting of this book centers around the murder of a 12-year-old boy who was best friends with another main character, a teenage boy named Thomas Siccardi. The interesting part of the story is that best friend Thomas happens to be the son of the most notorious crime boss in Boston, Francis Siccardi. Consequently, making solving this murder a lot more dangerous. And although there are many obstacles and close calls along the way, Detective Mike Bowen eventually crosses paths with this young son, Thomas, who turns out to be nothing like his evil father. And it is together that Thomas and Mike work to solve the crime of Thomas's best friend, with their primary suspect being Francis Siccardi. The book does an outstanding job of displaying each character's development, as well as showing the close bond formed between young Thomas and Mike throughout the novel. And in doing this, there are multiple aspects of leadership that this book conveys through the relationship of its main character, Mike, with Thomas, and how Mike interacts with his colleagues, as well as how Mike has a relationship with his father. And although this book is set on the rough streets of Boston, the leadership qualities that the main protagonist possesses are essential across all professions and relationships. So let's do a little reflection of the leadership in this book. Much can be learned from the leadership styles and traits of Michael Bowen in how he conducts his business with how he treats others. No matter who Mike is interacting with, he values and emphasizes many characteristics of leadership. Let me give you some examples. When talking with Thomas, for instance, he continually emphasizes the importance of trust. He does not expect trust to be given to him freely, which is what I love about him, but rather he demonstrates actions that can earn the trust of Thomas. Such actions include actively listening and considering Thomas's perspectives, theories, and even his feelings. You see, most adults quickly dismiss the contributions of adolescents. He does not dismiss Thomas, but alternatively makes inquiries that promote growth and encourage critical thinking. Many of the leads and locations they explored were because of young Thomas, because of his contributions, his insight. Mike created an atmosphere where Thomas could speak freely and express himself without being criticized or judged. And it's because of this mutual trust that Mike was able to be a true leader to Thomas. And he proved to him what an encouraging and influential father could possibly look like. Here's another example. Mike has a partnership with a young rookie cop named Delahunt. See, being a rookie cop, Delahunt has not experienced much of the cruelties and the tragedies that most experienced cops have had throughout their years on the force. Within the book, tragedy strikes as Detective Mike and Delahunt become involved in a shootout in a parking garage with multiple suspects. Unfortunately, Delahunt has to make that difficult decision to shoot and neutralize one of the suspects that was firing at them. And though this action did save Mike's life, the impact of taking someone else's left a traumatic scar on Delahunt's positive disposition. But it was through Mike's leadership, Delahunt was able to reach acceptance of his decision and have courage to move forward. This was done through Mike's exceptional interpersonal leadership skills. You see, Mike communicated with empathy, with compassion, with wisdom, that helped Delahunt move forward. Lastly, Mike has developed a charismatic leadership trait from the leadership of his own father. See, Mike may be a primary example of leadership in the book, but it was from his father that he gained the ability to be a leader. Though Mike's father is unfortunately suffering from Alzheimer's, it was the frequent flashbacks of Mike's upbringing that made it evident where Mike's passion came from. You see, Mike's father was a strict, authoritative leader, and at times implored unreasonable and sometimes unattainable high expectations for his son. But a benefit from this high energy and this strong moralistic belief of Mike's father was that Mike learned the importance of having charisma in leadership. And he used that same high energy to become one of the youngest detectives in the department, earning the respect and the trust of his boss and colleagues. You see, people by no means question or doubt Mike's intentions because he is transparent and he's devoted to his work. His vision, what he believes is that we need to be in a world, that we will live in a world where all criminals are brought to justice, regardless of their power, of their money, of their influence. His drive and his charisma are consistent and inspiring, and people continually know what to expect from him. Law enforcement is a completely different profession from education. But it was so exciting to see multiple aspects of leadership transfer within my own leadership as an administrator. Summarizing the key aspects I just mentioned, Mike Bowen was an excellent leader by emphasizing trust, having interpersonal communication skills, and having the charisma for what he believed in. All three of these characteristics can be essential and are essential for future leadership positions. So how am I going to use this in my own profession as an administrator? Well, first, I relate perfectly with Mike's concept of trust, particularly with adolescents. Examining the development of trust between these two people, Mike and Thomas, it is apparent that an effective leadership position will not prosper without a high level of trust. My goal as a leader is to develop trust among those who are affected by my leadership and beyond, as they affect people down further and further in their leadership. As author of The Speed of Trust, Stephen Covey says, to create reciprocity of trust, you must extend trust to others, just as Mike was extending trust to Thomas. I will emphasize and extend the importance of trust among those I communicate with by valuing its necessities in a working environment. I will actively listen and create a safe environment where the input of others is valued. In no way will anyone feel like their perspective will be criticized or judged. Once again, Covey says that when someone does not extend trust, they are withholding it instead. And that can cost everything in terms of leadership. To prevent this, I will be direct. I will be honest with my intentions and lead others to do so as well. As Detective Mike says, we must put all our cards on the table and not hold anything back if we are to trust each other moving forward. Second, just as Mike excelled in his interpersonal leadership skills, I too will strive to be empathetic, compassionate, and understanding when leading others in my profession. According to Nordhaus, a leader who knows how to read others' emotions is better equipped to respond appropriately to these people's wants and needs. I believe that communication is one of the foundations of effective leadership. Mike was able to accomplish this with Delahunt. Mike took Delahunt aside. He had a calm demeanor. He related to his pain and he offered encouragement to move forward. It was this leadership that earned Mike the respect of Delahunt. It made Delahunt easier to work harder for him. He even continued to work the same day of the shooting because he wanted to impress Mike. I will inspire that same kind of loyalty through my communication skills as well. Those I lead will know that I have their best intentions. And because of this, they will work harder. Not because they must or because they're forced to, but because their work will be genuine and purpose-driven. Lastly, just as Mike had the trait charisma in his leadership, I too will inspire my followers to believe in the same vision as I do through my own charisma. Again, Nordhaus states that incorporated with charisma are strong rhetoric skills, vision, and high energy, which all enhances the ability to gain devotion. It is my vision as administrator that every student is welcome in a safe, nurturing, and fun learning environment where everyone feels included. Teachers will follow the same passion and vision. My charisma will make expectations known and clear, and teachers will never doubt what is important in my school. You see, teachers require a common goal if they're to be unified within the school. Being known for my charismatic leadership, teachers will always have that common goal as the base for their decision making. Does this decision affect my vision of students feeling involved in a safe and nurturing, fun learning environment? If yes, let's move on with it. If no, let's reconsider. To summarize, Mike Bowen may just be a detective, but as I read through this book, I was continuously amazed with his communication skills and actions as a leader that can be directly correlated to my profession as a school administrator. I am encouraged, I am excited to put these leadership qualities into my practice and hopefully gain the same level of respect and loyalty as Mike Bowen did from the variety of individuals he chose to lead. Thank you.